Hi, I'm Angie Hilton and welcome to Unbreakable Entrepreneurs. As business owners, major challenges are inevitable. So how do we steel ourselves to weather the storms? Here, you'll find real-life stories of resilience, as well as tips from thought leaders and mental health experts on how to become unbreakable entrepreneurs. Geelong's own Beck Connolly from skincare label Botanicals by Luxe describes herself as just a normal mum with a passion. She believes in goal setting and hers was to make $1 million in 5 years. Well, that ended up happening in just 18 months. Beck shares her highs and lows of her business journey. So today we're lucky enough to have Beck from Botanicals by Luxe. So welcome, Beck, all the way from your home studio in Newtown.
Thanks, Angie. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's so great. I can't wait to hear your story. So right now is that your office? I can see products on the shelf. Where are you?
Yeah, so here in Newtown, this is our home, and we started the business almost 4 years ago. And yeah, it's just grown, and we will outgrow the spare bedroom, but at the moment we're really happy to be here.
So when you say we, the business is yourself and
my husband.
Right.
Yeah.
So was it your inspiration? How did it all begin?
Yeah, so I've been a skin therapist for 16 years, which makes me feel very old. But yeah, I knew that I always knew I wanted to have my own brand, but it was always just in the too hard basket, really. So then when we had the children, so I've got two boys, a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I thought, it's time to do something for ourselves now and really try and get this going and see where it can take us. So yeah, in 2018, I launched one product, which was a Hyaluronic Serum, and I thought, it's not going to sell. Like, it'll just be a little side hustle kind of a thing, and we'll see how it goes. And yeah, fast forward almost 4 years later, we have 19 products in the range and still just growing all the time. And it was sort of halfway through last year, and I just couldn't do it all by myself anymore. So I poached my husband from his full-time job, and now he's full-time with me as well. So it's created a lot more balance and a lot less on my shoulders too.
Yeah, sounds amazing. So what was your husband doing beforehand?
He was working at a tile and plaster place in sales, so completely different. Our goal was always to have a family business, but it was just always way too sort of pie in the sky kind of thing. I didn't think it would come to fruition this early. So yeah, it was always the goal, but yeah, it's wonderful now that it's happened.
So what are do you have definite roles, or do you just kind of pick up whatever needs to be done at the time?
Yeah, there's no real job descriptions. I think with small business, you wear so many different hats. So it's mainly me doing, socials and the formulation of the products and stock and all of that kind of thing. My husband will pack some orders. He'll also juggle the kids and that stuff as well. So it enables me to be able to go to meetings or to, do things like this. And yeah, we both kind of do a bit of everything, which is, it's a juggling act. And I think we do need to get some kind of descriptions in place. But at the moment, we're just cruising, which is good.
Yeah. So you've grown pretty quickly in a short amount of time. Is it 4 years, did you say?
Yeah, it'll be 4 years in April. So it has been pretty quick. And as I said, when I launched that first product, I thought it's just not going to sell. I had 200 units of it. Didn't have a website then either. And so I was just selling on the DMs and Instagram, which was so hectic. But they sold out in 12 hours, those serums. So I was like, maybe I'm onto something here.
Wow. What do you think it was about it?
I think I created a fair bit of hype. I was, creating the hype to the launch. Also, people had been seeing me for years doing their skin and that kind of thing. So I had that trust and had that relationship with my clients and followers on Instagram. We get 88% of our sales from Instagram. So it's pretty important to have a bit of a presence on there for us.
Did you already have a knowledge of social media before you jumped into this, or?
No, nothing. Just, I think when I started, obviously started from scratch. And then when I got to launch time, I think there was around 1,000 followers on there, which were mainly, your family, your friends and your clients and things like that. Pretty, honed into Geelong and Warrnambool, which is where I'm from. And yeah, since then it's just grown. I'm not really a tech savvy kind of a person. I've just sort of taught myself to do it, and it's worked. So.
And what sort of, when you say you've taught yourself, is there a bit of a strategy you could share that would help others in business? Is it like you have to post every day? Is there a formula to what you're posting about and that sort of thing?
I don't really stick to a set formula. I don't post every day, definitely. I know some people say, post twice a day. There's no way I do that. I just don't have time and content to do that. And also I believe in just posting when you actually have something to say rather than just posting for the sake of putting a post up. I also think it's really important to show your face. I think we're all natural creeps. We love to see the people behind the brand and a little bit of a family sort of snapshot and things like that. So I often, every day, usually, I'll jump on stories and just have a chat, whether it be a behind the scenes or packing orders or, telling people about new products or just having a bit of a chat. I think that's when I know that our engagement goes up, is when my there. So that took a bit of getting used to, but now I just jump on and have a chat, which is, it works. And I think I love watching other people's businesses doing that too. So that's what's worked for me.
And so how many followers do you have now?
I think there's just over 31,000.
Fantastic. In 4 years to grow like that and to have that many products. And so in terms of business growth and finances and that sort of thing, has it, well, obviously if you and your husband can be supported by the business, are you surprised by that growth?
Oh, absolutely. As I said, I thought it would just be a bit of a side hustle, maybe pay for the supermarket bills or something like that. And I'm a very safe person with money. I've never had a credit card, never had business loans or anything like that. I'm just very save up for something and then buy it. That's just me.
Sensible.
So it was a huge risk to, stop NATO working his full-time guaranteed wage to both of us being supported by this and the family. So we have a really good accountant, Jane. She sort of guided us and said, it's worst case scenario, he gets another job and that kind of thing. And absolutely blown away. It's just gone to levels that I could never have imagined.
And then is it tempting to think, well, how big could this get? And do you take that next leap or do you just stay safe, or where can it go from here?
I mean, it can just go, I think it can go quite a bit bigger. At the moment, as you can see, we're from home and I kind of want to max out the space at home before we are looking at buying a commercial space as a warehouse, but I kind of just want to max out here and burst at the seams and then move on to that rather than doing too much too soon. You can see I'm pretty safe.
Oh, that was paying off.
But I think, wholesale's not a huge thing for us, but that is something we can, look at down the track. At the moment, we have a couple of natural, what would I say, stockists. So we have Natural Supply Co here in Geelong, and we also have a salon in Warrnambool, Perth, and in Brisbane as well. So I keep that pretty small for now, but that could grow to new heights as well.
And the actual products, do you make them or where are they made?
Yeah, they're manufactured here in Victoria at a cosmetic laboratory. So there's no way, like I've done cosmetic science and cosmetic, all of that kind of stuff, the training and that kind of thing, but I haven't, cosmetic chemistry is the word I'm looking for, but I haven't actually made things. So I know what I need to go in them, but I don't know how to actually put it in there. So I work with, a cosmetic scientist and a cosmetic pharmacist, and they manufacture it all for us.
What have you found to be the hardest thing about this whole project?
I think the hardest thing at the start was definitely finding someone to take me seriously. A lot of manufacturers called me basically a mum with a hobby and were just thinking I was going to sell at markets and things like that, not need a lot of stock. So that was really hard at the start. And then I finally found our beautiful manufacturer who actually took the time and talked to me and listened to my goals and listened to my passion. And we still work with him today. And then I think the hardest part recently is just been almost burning out. I think as a small business owner, you do try and do everything and you want to do everything without trying to delegate too much, because it's your baby. So that was really hard for me. Last year during COVID, the business was just booming. And I think because everyone was staying at home, we're on our phones, we're wanting to make ourselves feel better. So buying skincare and all of that kind of thing, which was fabulous. But I was also homeschooling and, the stress of the pandemic and all of that kind of thing. And I nearly burnt out. I was so anxious, and I just knew that I had to start delegating and had to start, sharing the load a little bit, because I just couldn't do it all anymore. So that's been a big lesson for me.
What were the signs, if you're happy to share, that you knew that you were looking towards burning out? When did you know enough was enough?
Well, I was laying in the bath and I had a full panic attack, and I hadn't had one before. And I was like, I can't breathe. Am I sick? And what's going on? And then I got through that and, saw a psychologist, and she just said, it's classic burnout. It's, obviously there's that health anxiety, which I have had before with the kids, but that was at a whole new level with the pandemic. But yeah, she just said that burnout, you're feeling exhausted, but you just want to keep going and keep that ball rolling, keep that momentum going. But she just said, you've got to look after your mental health. So that's what really gave me a wake-up call, was chatting to a professional and her telling me, you need to calm down, otherwise you're going to end up in bed.
So what sort of strategies did you put in place from there on in?
I started to look after myself. As you know, as a mum, you can kind of lose yourself when you become a mum. And I definitely found that I was making everyone else feel good, but forgetting about myself. And there was that mum guilt. I was guilty to go out for lunch with a girlfriend or for a swim at the beach, with a friend, and not with the family and that kind of thing. So now I don't feel guilty. And I really made it important, and made it a priority for me to look after myself and take that time for myself and don't feel guilty. And since I've started doing that, probably for the last year, I just have been such a better mum, a better wife, a business owner, everything. So I think taking that little bit of time for yourself, even if it's just a walk around the block, I think it's really important.
Yep, refilling your own cup first.
Absolutely. Yeah. They say, what's that saying? You can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes,
so
yes.
I do believe that.
I love that one, definitely. Did it affect your sleep? Did you have trouble sort of turning off at the end of the day?
Yeah, my brain was just going and going and going. And so I found that doing some meditation before bed, as I was laying in bed, really helped me to switch off. Again, just taking those times, putting some oils on my feet and stuff like that, and having a cup of tea rather than just being on my phone and working right until I close my eyes. I found that really helped, and having that bit of a ritual for myself really has made the world a difference.
I was learning recently about creating tiny habits, and as you start doing them, they do become ingrained in your life, don't they? And it makes all the difference, because when you actually stop doing them, that's when things can get the better of you. So what would you say to someone that's looking to start, in the same way that you were starting out and you have these hesitations and should I, shouldn't I, is it too much of a risk? What would you say to someone who's sort of thinking about getting in the space?
Oh, I would just say go for it. It's the best thing that I've ever done. And it was, so frightening and so scary. But I think if you've got your ducks in a row and you've got an idea and you think there's a market for it, then make sure you obviously do your research, have a good team around you, not an actual, staff if that's not your thing, your structure. But I mean, your accountant, your financial advisor, your graphic design, your just friends to people bounce ideas off, because it can get quite lonely in a small business. So I think, absolutely go for it. Just, do your research and back yourself.
Love it. Well, how did you come up with the name Botanicals by Luxe?
We had a home salon. So once I had Ollie, so he's 7. So 7 years ago, we had a home salon a skin salon from the front of our home, and it was called Luxe on Chester. And so I knew that I wanted, that's not happening anymore. I couldn't do everything. So a couple of years ago, I stopped seeing face-to-face clients just so that I could focus on the business. But I knew that I wanted luxe in the name because, luxurious and yeah, just I like the word. And then botanicals was the main thing for me when formulating. I really wanted lots of Australian botanicals, fruits, flowers, plants, all of those kind of things in there. So I just thought, yeah, botanicals by Luxe, and it's stuck.
It sounds very classy.
Yeah, it's classy, but still attainable.
Yeah, absolutely. So juggling motherhood and business, do you have any tricks for other mummies or daddies out there?
Oh, not really. That's definitely still a work in progress for me. I think one of the things that's really helped is getting the kids involved. My kids love, and people that follow us on Instagram will see that the kids are often packing boxes or restocking the shelves and things like that. And I know that it's, sometimes more of a hindrance, but I think they love that. And I think it's important for them to see hard work as well, that you can't, it's not just, things don't just happen easily. I think it's nice for them to see that hard work, but yeah, it's just a juggling act, really. I'm still working.
So when it comes to your range, it's quite big. Have you got more to come still, and what are the favourites?
Yeah, my brain just doesn't really stop with the formulation side of things. I am definitely a skin nerd. At the moment, I'm working on a sunscreen, so I feel like it will be the death of me, this sunscreen. It's been happening for over 18 months. It's been in formulation, and to get a really good natural sunscreen with no nasties and no white cast and no balling and all that kind of stuff is really hard. But touch wood, we are at the testing phase now, so hopefully can release that in a few months. And yeah, the favourite would be that serum that I launched 4 years ago. The first product has definitely been the favourite. It suits all skins, and everyone just loves it. So that's definitely the most popular, which is nice, the OG.
Love it. So, and does it sell overseas as well, or is your market mainly based in Australia or Victoria or Geelong?
Yeah, so it's mainly Australia-wide. When I first started, it was mainly, Geelong, Warrnambool, Melbourne, and now it's all over Australia every single day. We sell quite a bit to New Zealand, and we've just started selling to the US and the UK, and, a few little different areas. So that's one of my focuses this year, is to, just grow that international market a bit more.
So exciting. You must just, do you get a little tings on your phone as products sell? Like, how do you...
it goes cha-ching, like it's like this.
Does it? And all day your phone's there with you and you're hearing the ting. That's got to be pretty great for your mindset of that positive flow.
It is. We don't do sales and things like that. I don't want to be one of those brands that has sales all the time, so customers wait for an email and things. But we had our first ever sale for Black Friday in November, just gone, and we had over 1,000 orders in one day. And my phone was like, I had to turn it on silent because I couldn't do anything. It was just like ding, 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 ding.
Oh.
Yeah, so it was wild, but it's exciting. Yeah, great problem to have.
Yeah. How does it work when you create a product and you have to test it? What's the process?
The process is huge. So basically it starts off obviously with an idea in my head. I know that I want a serum. I want it to be really hydrating. I want it to have all these different features. So then I go to the cosmetic scientist and say, this is what I want. This is how I want it to smell, to feel. And we go back and forth with, sometimes 20 different versions that I'll test and get people to test as well, because it can't just be me testing it. And then, it's just back and forth. They do stability testing over a 3-month period as well to make sure it can kind of stay in the bottle and all of that kind of thing, with the amount of preservatives and what packaging and all that kind of thing. And then, it's working on the wording and the graphics and the photo shoot and the e-commerce side of things. So it's a lot to do one product. So it's a huge weight off your shoulders when you actually press go and it's launched to the world. The website makes it, so easy. I just still can't believe that I started without a website. And I remember just people DMing me saying, I'd like to buy a serum, please. And I'll be like, okay, I need your address, transfer the money to this and send me a screenshot. It was just crazy.
Nightmare. So what platform do you use to make it easy?
We use Shopify. As I said before, I'm not a tech whiz, so that's made it really easy for me. They have really good support. It's quite affordable as well, and it's easy for someone to just create. You don't need someone to build it for you.
So you have Shopify. inside your website? I'm so, have no idea.
That's okay. So Shopify is, I guess, the host of the website. And then you have sort of other apps going off Shopify that sends the orders over to my printer over there and prints them out. And yeah, you can get it pretty streamlined, which is good. I used to write everyone's names on their parcels, but now it's, with the amount of orders that we do, we can't obviously do that. So it's been really good.
Amazing growth. So can you explain, so you've started from scratch and now you've grown into this enormous business. What are you happy to tell us about that growth?
Yeah, it's, I still get really overwhelmed. We started from that one serum. We're now a 7-figure business from home, just a family, just a normal family. I think when you have a passion and you are determined and have a goal, I'm a big one for goals, and I think you can get there. And I still get really a bit emotional talking about it because it blows my mind. And
when you say goals, did you set it? Did you write it down? What's the process that you use to make it happen?
Yeah, I'm a big one for manifesting, which might be a bit woo-woo, but
I love to manifest.
Sometimes I'll just stand outside with my feet in the grass and look at the moon and just have a think about what my intentions are for the week or for the month or for the year or whatever. I do bounce a lot of ideas off my accountant Jane. She's become a really good friend and she's into manifesting too, so we often tell each other our goals and tell each other what's going to happen for the year. And I think it's nice to have someone to in the same kind of mindset to bounce those ideas off as well. And I think I'm drawn to people that are driven like me. So a lot of my friends are similar kind of people, so we love to talk our ideas out and our goals and keep each other accountable.
Feed off each other. That's
definitely
amazing.
Yeah.
And were there any books or people you watched or listened to inspire you to get this mindset?
I really like the Resilience Project.
Hugh.
Yes.
Yeah, I interviewed him on my show. Yeah.
When I read that 18 months ago, that just really stuck with me, and I've gone and seen him talk a couple of times, and I've booked in to see him again. I think he's just fabulous, and that it's the gratitude, empathy, and mindfulness, and that's just taking those things into your daily life has really helped me.
Do you have a mantra?
I don't really have a mantra. I think something for me is trust your hard work. It's unlocking doors that you can't see yet. I saw that on a...
Say that one more time. Trust your
hard work. It's unlocking doors that you can't see yet.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps. Let's go.
Yeah, I saw it on a quote card or something, and it really stuck with me.
Oh, that's going to stick with everyone that's listening to this, I think.
It's a good one.
Fantastic. So any last words of advice for the business owners out there? I know, your business, a lot of the people we're speaking to, it's about the hard times they've come through. You just seem to be on this trajectory heading up. So what can we learn from you?
I think it's not all roses. As I shared, my business was flying, but I wasn't flying. So I think it's taking that time to look after yourself, and imposter syndrome has been a big one for me. So I think, believing in yourself and believing that you should be here and you should be doing it and kicking goals. I think it's really important. So believe in yourself and look after yourself is my main thing.
That's absolutely wonderful. Everyone needs to be reminded of that daily, I think. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your inspiration, and we can't wait to see what the next 4 or 5 years looks like for you. My gosh, we'll be very proud in Geelong to have you as a Geelongite.
Oh, thank you, Angie, and thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll see you at the chamber meetings, okay? The networking nights, we'll see you there?
Yes, sounds good.
All right, thanks, Beck. See you.
Thank you.
I'm Angie Hilton, and thanks for listening to Unbreakable Entrepreneurs Podcast. If you've enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe and head to geelongchamber.com.au for more wellbeing tips. This has been brought to you by the Geelong Chamber of Commerce and the Partners in Wellbeing program.